If you somehow guessed that Luffy is my favorite Straw Hat, then you're absolutely right. But what exactly does that mean for the other 9? And where do they fall as I rank them from most favorite to least favorite? This actually took me a lot longer to do than I thought it would, but I think I have my mind made up. I mean, at least for now, considering One Piece isn't over yet, so some things could change in the near future. That aside, I want to give a quick thanks to everyone that's been supporting me, whether you've been here for a while or whether you're new here. I welcome it and I appreciate it. Thank you for all the love and support. Like I stated in the very beginning, my favorite Straw Hat is Luffy. I love how persistent Luffy is, I love how he speaks his mind, and Luffy does a really great job taking care of his crew. Luffy will literally go to the moon and back for his crew and make anyone an enemy if it means protecting his crew. Not only that, Luffy's naturally funny. He doesn't see gender, status, or care why you're evil. He's gonna do what he has to do at the end of the day, regardless if you're the government, Kaido, or Big Mom. It really doesn't matter to him, and I like that a lot. Overall, the major reason I love Luffy so much is he's out here changing lifestyles. Like, he's making massive impacts on people's lives. He's literally out here saving countries and islands, or whatever you want to call it. And I honestly can't imagine giving a #1 spot to any other Straw Hat. Now, the spot for my second favorite Straw Hat goes to Zoro without a doubt. I haven't seen an anime character more loyal than Zoro. Like, Zoro legit takes loyalty to a whole different level. We saw this in Water 7 when he was talking about Usopp's actions, and we also saw this in Thriller Bark, I believe, when he took on all of Luffy's pain and said nothing about it. Now for me, the #3 spot has got to go to Robin. Now my favorite One Piece girl overall is Boa Hancock, but when it comes down to the women of the Straw Hats, I find myself rotating between Robin and Nami being my favorite. Still, I feel like Robin should get the #3 spot because I love her backstory, I love how far she's come, I absolutely love her personality, she's strong, mature, and I love how morbid she is. As weird as that sounds, I love her sense of humor. Probably because I have a dark sense of humor as well. As for the 4th favorite Straw Hat, for me that's gotta go to Jinbei. I loved him in Fishman Island. I love how he gave Luffy some of his blood. I mean, Jinbei was there to help Luffy during the Impel Down. He was there to help Luffy pull himself back together after Luffy lost his crew. Jinbei is extremely reliable and I'm really glad he's a part of the Straw Hat family. The 5th spot is gonna be Nami for me. Now, a lot of you may not agree with this, but I have to give this spot to Nami because 1, I love her backstory and I love her loyalty to Luffy. I love how Nami did a complete 180 when it came to how she felt about pirates, and Luffy is primarily the reason for that. I still also haven't forgotten about how she protected Zoro and Usopp during that whole beef with Arlong, and I feel like Nami is willing to go through a lot for others, and she has a really big heart. Now, I don't know if it's Uti or Oti or however you say her name, but Nami showed a lot of loyalty for Luffy here as well. I mean, she really stuck to her beliefs, feelings, and guns here in this moment, and I absolutely love that. As for the 6th spot, I'm going to give that to Brook. Now, I don't have too much to say about Brook, but I do love his backstory. I mean, all of the Straw Hats have pretty great, movable backstories, but the way Brook stood up to Big Mom will always live rent-free in my head, and I also can't help but feel like Brook is a pretty reliable character as well. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of where I started struggling, but for the #7 spot, I decided to give it to Frankie. Now, I didn't really like Frankie at first, given that he was sort of a villain and he did some pretty messed up things, but because Frankie has become a character I actually don't mind, I think that's pretty impressive. It's kind of similar to how I didn't like Boa Hancock at first, but I've almost forgotten what she did in the beginning, and it's the same thing with Frankie. I feel like if you can change how someone feels about a character or make them do a complete 180 about a character, I personally feel like that's really great writing. As for the 8th spot, I'm going to give this one to Chopper. Chopper is a doctor that can fight when needed, and I'd say that's pretty reliable. Plus, he's also cute. And I kind of still miss how he looked in the older episodes since we're on the subject, but it's not that big of a deal. I also kind of wish Chopper would get more opportunities to fight and maybe see what else he develops in order to help him fight. Alright, so for the 9th spot, it's gonna be Sanji, and I gotta say I did not realize I'd be putting Sanji this low, especially since he started out pretty high for me when the series first started. I mean, I love his backstory and I still love it, but I just feel like Sanji has kind of been falling off of the radar a bit. It could just be me, but I would love for them to do a little bit more with Sanji. I would love for him to have some more cool moments, or just some moments overall where he gets to shine and it's a little bit more consistent. Lastly, we have Usopp in the 10th spot by default. Now, Usopp is a favorite for a lot of people, but he's just not mine, and he probably will never be my favorite. I know a lot of people like to excuse Usopp's behavior in Water 7 and say he felt bad, he felt insecure, and that he's human, and that he's meant to be a coward. But honestly, it's just not enough for me. I also don't like how he told Nami to just go ahead and say that Luffy wasn't going to be the Pirate King. Like, that didn't sit right with me. And it also doesn't help that I feel like Usopp is the most likely to fold under any type of pressure. Even still, he's had some bad moments, he had some good moments like everyone else, but unfortunately, those bad moments of Usopp kind of stuck with me. Anyway, as of this moment, this is how I would rank all 10 of the Straw Hats. Y'all let me know how y'all would rank the Straw Hats and why. As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. SierraNovaa is out.